you're in a whole other state physically and mentally.
Yeah, 100%.
You forgot that you're not in New York right now.
Yeah, we are not in New York anymore.
Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
No.
We are filming from what are we gonna call it? The Gab Gallery?
The Teapot?
The Teapot, yeah.
The Teapot.
Because we're two T's in a pod.
We are two T's in a pod.
We're filming from my apartment in the greater Boston area. We're so lucky to be in person together today to film our very first episode, record our very first episode.
I know, depending on.
I know. We're very excited to be here. If you're tuning in, thank you already. Yeah, I'm Gab.
I'm Ange, also known as Yap.
And this is Yap and Gab.
We're queens in disguise and the night is too fine.
You want to tell the people how we know each other?
Oh, I'll tell the people how we know each other. So Gab and I met in Cos, Bosie's Cosmetology, many moons ago, and I wanted to be her friend so bad. I wanted to be her friend so bad, and I was like, she's so cool. Like, you're so cool.
I was so awkward. I was not, like, aware of this. I was like, everybody hates me and everything hates me, and I'm just like...
See...
It was very, like, doom mindset teenager. I was too angsty.
So, you out-angst me, so in turn, I had to be a golden retriever.
And that makes sense.
I, you know, in class, you get to know the other girls and get Snapchats.
This is a 2.5 hour a day class, and like you're high school age still, so
yeah, to paint that picture.
Yeah.
And
so all these girls from all different schools spending half of their high school day
for 2 years.
For 2 years, for 2.5 hours of 5 days a week,
which doesn't sound like a lot. But actually going through cosmetology, like,
that's
itself...
12.5 hours a week.
That's a lot. It's crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And you need 1,000 hours total. Like, for a little bit more.
So, we've clocked in over 1,000 hours of friendship.
This is true. This is valid, yeah. Because we went through the entire program together.
Wild. And we have some wild stories. We'll have to do, like, cosmetology tea. A whole episode on that.
We'll definitely have to bleep some things out.
Oh, I think it'll be like 80% bleeped out, but it'll be fun to listen around the bleeps.
But we met in beauty school, and we both like things that are ugly and morbid and macabre and overall just spooky.
We're just the same person.
Yeah, we're just two weird bitches, honestly.
I mean, I think we are the same exact person. I think, like, somewhere the stardust fell.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be one, and it, like...
It's separated.
Our charts are the
divided.
exact same. That's like, I think about that on a daily.
Yeah, like you're a Libra sun and I'm a Libra moon and I'm a Leo sun, but from the exception of like me having that Leo front, our charts are very, very close. It's kind of wild.
It is wild. Yeah.
But we've been friends for like 10 years. We did the math earlier today, so
that's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
10 years is awesome.
Wild.
But it's been the best 10 years. Like,
it's been a good ride.
And we've worked together after.
We have worked together. We've been nail techs.
We've been nail techs together.
You're still a nail tech.
I'm still a nail tech.
I work in fashion now, but I like to consider it cosmetology adjacent.
Oh, 100%.
It's one and the same. Like
100%. 100%. Trying to think of like
100%.
100/0.
Oh,
this is why we stay friends.
This is exactly why we stayed friends. And I guess we decided to do a podcast.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things to talk about, as you can probably tell already. Like, we're here to yap, we're here to gab. Oh, we considered calling it the Chatterbox, where we currently are.
This is the Chatterbox.
Yeah.
You can also vote on it. People can vote.
Yeah, vote. Tell us. We have socials.
When we become really like rich and have multiple we'll have different pod labs that we'll call different things. But check out our socials. For now, this is the Chatterbox Lab. Yap and Gab Pod on Instagram, or Yap and Gab. Wait, is it
Yap Gab
Yap
Pod?
Gab.
It's such a tongue twister. Clearly, I couldn't say it out loud when I made it. At gmail.com.
And
you can email us.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna struggle with it for a minute.
It's gonna be great.
But we're on Instagram. If you caught any of that, we'll probably just put it in the show notes because clearly we don't know our title. It's fine.
Well, it's Yap and Gab, and then there's no and in the email.
No, because I wanted it to just be the ampersand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sophistication.
And
you can't have that email address. So. But that's kind of like the premise of this is sophisticated gossip. We're here to tell some shit, talk some tea, spill some tea. This is the podcast for history, mystery, and other worldly gossip. So, we just want to tell, like, the weird stories that don't get a lot of light. They, really don't see as much airtime as they should. Things you should probably know about. Things you thought maybe you knew about. Different perspectives on history, different crime cases, conspiracy theories. An example Ange gave last night is why fairies are bad.
And we don't fuck with them. They're not nice.
Oh, that's what you said. Why fairies are actually not nice.
Yeah, this is why I don't fuck with fairies.
We don't fuck with fairies. It's fine.
I'm excited for that episode because gnomes also. Sorry if you love gnomes. It's a nope for me.
It's a gnome for me. It's a gnome for me, dog.
We'll have that episode like nope, but like GNO.
It's a nope for me. Yes. I love it.
Be prepared for a lot of very not funny jokes.
I think we're hilarious.
We are hilarious. I was just trying to be humble.
Oh, fuck. But what's happening with you, Ange?
Not much is happening. I drove out here.
You did drive out here. It's almost a 4-hour drive.
Almost a 4-hour drive. I did have somebody behind me consistently put their high beams on, and every time a car passed the other way, they would turn the high beams off and then go back to putting them on. And I was like...
But they were behind you.
They were behind me.
But they didn't care about...
No.
Maybe... like that, like, old wives' tale where it's like the person behind you flashes their high beams because there's a person in your backseat with a knife? Did you look in your backseat?
I didn't.
Maybe they were trying to tell you something. And every time they turn the high beams on, the person with the knife ducks down, so they keep flashing their high beam. This is my dog. It's fine. She doesn't need an introduction. But yeah, that's like an old, like... Come on, get down. Like a Bloody Mary type thing.
I just picture like a movie montage and like...
Montage.
Okay. And every time they flash their high beams on, they're like in a different pose. And so there's like some like about to go.
Yeah.
And then they just flash like a peace sign, a little like hair flip, something cute. But really, on a serious note, if they were in my backseat, I hope they enjoyed my terrible singing.
Wow, what were you listening to?
Everything.
I love that.
Fleetwood Mac, Kendrick Lamar, SZA.
Yeah.
Doechii.
The girl stuff.
The girl stuff.
Typical girl stuff.
The girl stuff.
Thank you. For those of you that are just audio, my dog just decided to get up in my face. And honestly, it's her world. I'm just living in it. So for those of you that are thinking, like, do something about your dog, fuck off. This is my platform.
So, can I add to that?
Yeah.
It is their world. Our pets are the only ones that are home constantly. And
yes.
we leave. So, they do whatever they want.
No,
she gets
seriously.
to do whatever she wants.
Literally.
She holds down the fort.
She...
Every day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does she pay rent? No. Alright, are you ready to jump into our story for today?
I am so excited. This is all new to me. Gab's amazing and did all of this research, everything, came up with this entire thing, and I I chose to go in blind. She did offer, and I was like, no, because I want raw reactions.
And I think it's going to be best that way. And honestly, like, we've been talking about a podcast for years. So we're excited to be here. And we're always going to bullshit and banter. So this is already not your jive. Sorry. We're yappers. That's the whole point.
Do you remember in Paz?
No.
The door.
Bitch.
The door. So if that's not your jive, exit, please.
Not to bring us on a different note, but we do want to dedicate our episode to something, so I do just want to tell you a little bit about that. And this is probably going to be a theme for us. We would like to dedicate each episode this way, so I want to talk about a missing persons case a little bit that hasn't really gotten a whole lot of attention recently. But this episode is dedicated to Suzanne Lyle. She was known as Susie to her loved ones, and she's been missing since March 2nd of 98, so we are days away from the 27th anniversary now, so it's really crazy and wild to think about that. She's from where
we're from.
Yeah.
So it really literally hits home.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any information, please DM us on Instagram, email, contact, the Capital Region Police Departments,
Yeah, this is an open case in the FBI, so you can contact your local FBI office if you have any information about this. Excuse me. But she was last seen on the campus of Albany, where she got off a bus after working her job at Crossgates Mall, and she hasn't been seen since. So she was a student. She never got to walk the stage. She's never got to come home to her family, and it's just all around tragic. So this episode goes out to Suzanne Lyle. Do we have ads? We definitely have to do a pajama episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Slumber potty, as you called it last night. I mean, this is just all around a tea potty.
It is a tea potty.
It's,
very New England.
It is very New England.
Oh, very fitting.
Pod-y. They're gonna be like, it sounds like potty. Ooh.
Well, I mean,
dogs.
Because we're the shit.
You think you're the shit, bitch? Sorry. Sorry, I said a wrong word. Okay, I have a story for you, Angela. Are you ready?
I am.
I titled this An Asexual Aristocrat.
Oh.
What do you know about King Louis XVI, Ange?
Not much. I actually failed history class.
We're going to talk about his sex life.
Oh my god, my favorite topic. It's even better when it's other people's.
Exactly. Girl, you good? Please go lay down. Please, 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 please. Okay, so he is best known as being the king who was overthrown during the French Revolution. So he is the last king of France, and his significant other, his wife, was arguably more famous. He was married to Marie Antoinette. Sure, you've heard that name.
Yes. An icon.
Yeah.
A legend.
A legend indeed. And one of the most famous things about them, unfortunately, is their death. They both went out via guillotine, so...
Do you know guillotines were around until, the 70s?
That's wild.
Isn't that I just read that somewhere, the other day.
Source. No, I'm just
Google.
Did you know that guillotine is the last name of the person who invented it? And he invented it to be a more humane way of killing because it was an instant death. But once he saw what it was doing and how it was becoming used for public executions, he tried to get people to change the name of it so that guillotine was no longer associated. So
that's so sad.
The French head slicing invention.
But that also another morbid thing to add to that is because they used the same guillotine and wouldn't sharpen them, they actually stopped working on the first try.
They'd have to do it again.
They had to do it quite a few times. So, can't get behind that, can't support that.
No, we're really not here for it.
We're I'm not here for that.
Yikes.
If you're gonna slice and dice, be a chef.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about his family tree. I promise it'll be like a little bit relevant later. But Louis the 16th was the great-grandson of Louis the 14th. So Louis the 14th, going back in time, he was known for his sexual prowess.
Okay.
Yeah, he was getting it on. He was having affairs. He was fucking up in the palace. Or not fucking up, but he was fucking it up, you know? Like...
Damn, getting around.
Yeah, no, he was getting around, and he was known to be, like, kind of legendary at it. Like,
scandalous. We love a little scandalous.
Yeah.
Royalty, a royal affair, you know?
Quite literally. So, Louis the 14th went on to have a son. Do you want to guess what his name was?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I'm gonna lock in with Louis.
Okay. Do you want to guess what his son's name was?
I'm gonna lock in with Louis.
Louis is right. Would you care to go further than that? The son of Louis the 14th?
It's tough. I'm gonna guess 15th.
Louis the 15th! Ding,
oh
ding,
my
ding,
gosh.
ding, ding, we have a winner! Okay, and then Louis the 15th, he went on to have a son. Would you care to guess his name?
I'm gonna have to go with Louis the 16th, my friend.
Only half right.
Oh my gosh.
He definitely was a Louis. In the French monarchy, if you were the heir apparent, so the next person to take the throne, you were called the Dauphin. Dauphin, if you want a big and real American, but it is a French term. Means heir apparent. So, Louis the Dauphin, he went on to have a son himself, also named Louis. We'll call him Baby Louis.
Little baby.
Yeah, little baby Louis.
I love that. It's like a cat name.
Yeah, but when Louis the 15th was reigning, his son, Louis the Dauphin, actually passed away, so he never went on to take the throne, so that's why he wasn't Louis the 16th. So his son, Baby Louis, is actually who becomes Louis the 16th. So keep in mind that he doesn't have his father, and it's his grandfather figure that's like what's present in his life, and his grandfather's the king, of course.
Oh my gosh.
So he's the heir apparent. And he's young. He's really, really young. We're missing a whole generation there.
Right.
Yeah, so...
That causes, like, a lot.
It does cause a lot, but, like, from a young age, they had plans for Louis.
Okay. So he was set.
He was set. So, there's,
not
like...
a Nepo baby.
Bruh, he was a Nepo baby.
A Nepo baby.
Like,
to the extreme. To the 16th degree.
Love it. Absolutely love it. He was a Nepo baby. There was like 300 years of bad blood, big beef between Austria and France.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like beefing. Like, it was just...
Guys, stop beefing.
It's a whole other topic, but when the two governments agreed to reconcile, basically. They're like, what can we do to solidify this? So the Empress of Austria and King Louis XV, the grandfather, agreed that they would arrange a marriage between the Empress' daughter and Baby Louis. Yeah, so Baby Louis would have been 4 at the time of this, and Marie Antoinette would have been 2 when they were promised to each other.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the arrangement stood for about 12 years before it actually took place.
Oh my gosh. That's a thought that I can't even wrap my head around.
That it was only 12 years? Because think about that math.
Just being like, well, that's crazy in itself.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, just having, like, something arranged for you. I mean...
As a literal infant.
Like, you're told...
I mean, like, 4, of course, is a little bit older, but, like, that's still not old enough to betroth a child. Like...
Right, like, that's...
It's wild.
Wild.
But the whole thought behind it was they would marry and have kids, and the bloodlines of Austria and France would essentially fuse.
Wow.
So, it's crazy to think they were, like, putting this on these babies.
This, like, marriages were so political.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
there was no emotional. That's so sad.
Yeah.
No.
But they got married in 1770. Whole big grand to do, of course, because we knew this was coming for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And when
they had 12 years to prepare.
Yeah, but that still only made them 16 and 14 years old.
That's wild. At 14...
Marie Antoinette was a bride.
What were we doing at 14?
We didn't know each other.
No. I think I was printing out, like, One Direction pictures and putting them in my binder.
Oh my god, yeah. I was, like, taking mirror selfies with my hand over my mouth and, like, my whole forehead bangs. Like...
Yeah, I think at 14...
Listening to Paramore.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
14 was a time.
14 was a time. So, they get married, and what do you think they do after the wedding?
What anybody does. Honeymoon.
A honeymoon. You would think it would be time for the sexy time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, they called this the going to bed ceremony.
Honestly, I fuck with that. That's a long day. That's a long day.
It's a long day.
So, yeah, I get it.
It's a long day. Do you have any guesses what the first step in said ceremony was?
No.
Well, of course, it's ceremonial. So, the bed was first blessed by the Archbishop.
Oh!
Yeah, so the Archbishop's in the room. And then there is somebody to assist both the husband and wife. I don't want to call them, like, assistants or handmaids or, like, anything of that nature, because they were actually, like, of higher caliber.
Right.
So, in the case of Louis the 16th, or what he would come to be, the person that was there for him was his grandfather, Louis the 15th.
Oh!
And then there was a duchess present there for Marie Antoinette.
Oh,
but they were there to hand them a nightshirt that they would each change into, so it would be like the nightshirt that they would have sex in.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they're both like getting in the nightgowns to have sex.
With family present.
With your grandfather in the room. And,
oh my god.
like, essentially your priest.
Man, I make sure my cat sleeps through that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they give them each these nightshirts, and when the king is talking to baby Louis, he, like, takes him on it to try and give him, like, some pointers on how to have sex.
Step aside, old man. You're not needed.
Well...
You were not required.
I wish that was the case. But that's why we're talking about this today. He did need a lot of help.
Oh!
A lot of help.
Oh.
And it probably didn't help that, in addition to his grandfather, this duchess, the archbishop, there was the entirety of the royal court also in the room.
Oh my god. There was, like,
there was an audience.
You might as well just do it on a football field.
At this point.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But said advice, either fell on some deaf ears, or he just didn't listen because they were not successful in consummating their marriage life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real here. Would you be successful if you had all these people watching?
No, but that was the tradition.
Oh my gosh. I can't get past that.
Yeah. And not only, like, were they not successful that night, but it took a full 7 years for them to consummate their marriage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so when I'm saying he needs some help...
Oh, baby.
He needed some help.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, baby Louie.
But, nevertheless, the wedding... Not ceremony, celebration continued for 2 more weeks until a firework display killed 132 people.
Oh!
Casual. Not at all.
They had fireworks back then.
They did. It's just gunpowder.
Oh my gosh.
And colors.
Oh my, that's terrible.
Yeah.
How many people?
132 people.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How did that go so wrong? That's wild.
I have no idea, but a lot of people consider it to be an omen for their reign, because of course they ended up being overthrown. I personally think it's an omen for the lack of O's, man. That was so bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. No O's for Marie.
No.
Yeah.
No O's for anybody if it took 7 years.
No, there was no O's. And that's the whole problem, because if you remember, the reason they got married was to fuse those bloodlines. So the public is getting concerned.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no babies coming in. Remember, again, we skipped the whole generation.
Right.
Like, we lost
so
baby Louis' death.
they're trying to make up for lost time, and they're not getting it.
Yeah, because, spoiler alert, the king passes away when baby Louis is only 19.
Right.
So, at 19 and 17, they take over as king and queen.
Oh my god, I couldn't even take over my own insurance.
Dude.
That's...
Insurance is a scam.
It is a scam. That's another.
It's a whole other thing.
That's an episode.
Yes, it is. But yeah, they were both frustrated. They're like talking to their servants, handmaids, friends, people in the royal court. So like word is getting around that they're not having sex.
Right.
And particularly that Louis is failing in the bedroom.
You know, she farted and that's all I could smell for like 10 minutes.
It does smell like farts on here.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Clutch has the worst farts.
My dog has farts.
Little farty dog.
What was I talking about? Oh, all their friends like listen to their gossip.
Yeah.
Rumors
were spreading.
Rumors were spreading. People were concerned.
Yeah.
And it's taken a long time. People are not liking it, and people are wondering, like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, yeah, that's their government. That's their...
Yeah, like that's...
I would be worried, too. You know, if we're like, hey, nothing's happening. We don't know.
And you don't really have, like, celebrities in this area. Like, this is, like... This is, like, bread and butter. Like...
Right, this is, like...
I mean, they didn't have bread and butter. The people were starving. But, like, this is what they're talking about.
This is, like...
Well, the loyalists, the lower class is... Well, eventually we'll overthrow them. That's a whole other story. But we're not talking about the French Revolution as a whole. We're talking about the sex lives of the people who were overthrown.
The non-existent sex slaves.
The non-existent sex slaves.
Oh, man.
Some said they didn't think that Louis XVI was interested in sex at all.
I mean, probably not his thing.
Maybe
it's not for everybody.
I mean, other people were like, they're 16 and 14. Do they know how to have sex, or do they understand what sex is? Because you didn't talk about it back then.
No, but that's such like a formative age for that, because you're not talked about, especially in that era. Like, you don't talk about it, but also, like, instinctually, that's when our bodies start to change, so you would kind of assume that they'd be, like, all, like, eager.
But, like, were they even in full puberty yet? Like, we don't know that about each of them. Like, we don't know, like, what was going on in their heads, what their brain chemistry
It's just a lot to, like, think about at that point in time. There's just a lot of factors. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so he became king at 19, but they're still not having sex. At this point, like... There's still people that are present in the room. It's not like the going to bed ceremony that it was before, but there's handmaids and whatever, and Louis XVI had servants that would stand outside the door, and when they were done, they would say, "How was it for you, sir?" And he would say, "Nothing happened."
Oh.
Pretty regularly. Yeah.
I feel like bad.
It's kind of sad.
It's really sad.
But I don't know, he must just, like, not have had that natural urge because...
Wow.
Yeah, and, like, back in the day, like, sexuality wasn't even in the vernacular.
Right.
Like, the only way most people knew homosexuality existed, or I won't even go as far as saying it's an option because
you
could die, yeah.
Right.
And of course, like, being gay isn't a choice. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we're talking about the 1770s in Europe.
Right. Like, heavily, like, if you go against the grain in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, instant shun. You weren't allowed to be gay.
Right. I'm wondering, too, like, because we don't know, obviously there was, like, mental health crisis.
Oh, absolutely. And there was mental health in his family, and there's inbreeding.
Right. So all of those things, like anxiety, I mean, all the things that, like, when you look at that at face value, like, oh, he couldn't.
Yeah.
You don't think about all those things.
Yeah, there's so many things going on. Oh. And, like, to put it in a frame of reference, the only way most people even knew, like, going back to what I was saying, that homosexuality is an option, is the fact that the Bible says man shall not lay with man. Like, it's a religious thing.
Right.
Like, that's the only frame of mind they have. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
It's so crazy. So, of course, one can go right ahead and speculate. Was Louis XVI gay? Honestly, I don't think he was. And neither does my Google search history, because I straight up Googled, was Louis XVI gay? And, like, the little AI came up and was like, no.
Oh. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Unlike Louis XVI.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't true. But, there's also no record of him, no substantial records. Of course, everybody likes to speculate with any royal figure anywhere that they had affairs, but there's no record of him having affairs.
Right.
Or inclinations toward men. I don't believe that he was gay by any stretch of the imagination.
And I mean, she was beautiful.
Oh my god, yeah, she was known for her beauty.
Right, so
her fair skin, blue eyes, and her over-the-top wigs, which that was considered the standard of beauty then.
Right, and so
in France.
I definitely don't think it could have been, like, an attraction.
Right. That's what one would think, but...
Love that.
Okay, but, like, taking it a step further, like, was he interested in sex at all? I think there's a good chance he was asexual.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it literally is not for everybody.
No, like, people noted it didn't seem, like, this is a quote that comes up quite a bit in my research. It didn't seem like he was willing or interested.
I mean,
he did not want to have sex. And people couldn't figure out why.
Oh my gosh. Just leave the poor man alone.
He didn't want to have sex. But people were concerned because there's no fucking heirs coming.
Right. Right. At that point, I feel like just find a baby.
Well, they want that bloodline. They want that French-Austrian thing. That's why they want these.
How are they gonna know? How are they gonna know?
But think about it. That's 19 years they're into that.
Yeah.
Whole.
Yeah.
12 plus 7.
So like, you're approaching, I mean, with people shorter lives at that point, that's like 2 generations.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And they already are king and queen, and they have no kids.
Wow. Dual income, no kids sounds great.
That would be the dream, honestly. But yeah, he's definitely got some avoidance behavior about it. Definitely some shortcomings, if you know what I'm saying. But so Marie's brother, she starts butting him. She's like, what is going on? He's like, what is going on with my brother-in-law? Why is everybody talking shit? He's not fucking my sister. And apparently he gets all concerned. Oh. They're writing letters. He's giving advice. And he comes to this conclusion, which is documented in letters, and also because we have people that may have been in the room. We know this much about them having sex during the 7-year period. So, it seems he was getting an erection.
Okay, so we have a start.
Right, so it tells you right off the bat that he's capable of getting an erection, and he's capable, like, he's not impotent. But then, pretty much all natural urge escapes him from there. Oh. He would insert his penis, and he would just stay there.
Oh.
He didn't understand the thrusting notion.
Oh.
So he would literally just insert and hang out. for a minute or two, and then he would pull out, and he would send Marie on her way, and this poor thing was probably, like, feeling so defeated, and, like, so used.
Right.
And, then he would finish himself off.
Oh.
So, I mean, maybe he's not asexual, but it's like, what is going on that he's...
Yeah,
he's not, like, people think, like, he just didn't know what sex was, or...
Which, like, again, that kind of, like, shocks me, because if you look at, like, not trying to be weird at all, but, like, anything in nature, animals know. Most humans know. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for both of them. I can't imagine, like, the mental toll.
And that she's 14 when this starts happening.
Right.
Like,
and she probably already, like, does not want to be in this position.
No, of course not.
You've already got nerves. Yeah. You've got, you know, you're scared. You're a baby. 14's a baby.
Oh my God. And, like, think about it, like, how women get their periods, like, younger and younger.
Yeah.
She might not even have been fertile yet. She might not even have, like, been of puberty age yet. We don't know her particular situation as far as that goes.
I feel so bad for both of them. I mean, this is...
And honestly, like, if we're looking at paintings, I feel like you can see Marie's boobs growing over the years.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she grew up. Like,
I know.
I don't think it went... She was a baby.
She's a baby.
He was a baby.
They were babies. I mean, I was scared to hold, like, hands with people at that age.
Oh my God, yeah, no.
That was, like, big ick.
Yeah.
Gross.
Boys are still gross.
Yeah. I'm a good boy.
We love Paul.
We love Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So some start to wonder if it's medical then from there.
Okay.
So there's this condition called phimosis. 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 And, you know, back in the day, it wasn't the norm to circumcise a baby at birth.
Right.
So phimosis is when a foreskin is too tight to retract around the head of the penis when it's erect.
Oh.
So, and that's a very painful condition.
Yeah.
As it sounds.
Yeah. And they also, like, weren't hygienic.
No.
So now you've got two very bad.
Yeah, so some say it was just too painful for him to have sex.
Okay, that understandable.
But he was also, like, still jerking himself off.
Right.
And finishing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so a lot of historians are divided on this, whether or not he had surgery. Okay. I personally don't believe he did. But a lot of people think that he had a circumcision and that's what corrected their problem in the bedroom. But he was an avid hunter.
Oh, okay.
And back in the day, you kept a hunting journal.
Yeah.
Like, you wrote everything. Like, there was no hunting... Well, there's probably, like, trails, but they weren't modernized.
Right,
like, we have them. So, I took this many steps. I walked this far, like...
Right.
And guns are fucking heavy.
Extremely heavy.
And you're crouching and squatting for hours at a time.
Right.
And around the time he allegedly had the surgery, he never misses a day in his hunting journal.
Oh.
So if he had had the surgery, there's no way he would be out carrying this big-ass gun hunkered down in the woods.
Right. Plus,
with no anesthesia at an adult circumcision.
I feel like surgeries were not, like...
No.
You didn't really come out on the other side all the time.
No.
Huge risk for infections.
And that would mean the same day. He would be hunting and the day after.
So, yeah. Oh. Do you think they started this to, like, ease everybody's minds? Like, oh, you know...
Well, eventually...
a little bit longer.
Well, we know it was 7 years because eventually they break that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are desperate to know what happened.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, it was painful before, but... Like, even tonsils, they say, are worse as an adult. Right. A circumcision as a grown man?
Right. Yeah, just anything. I mean... Oh my gosh.
No, it's truly wild.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I don't think he had a... There was a lot of coaching. He allegedly hired somebody at one point in time just to talk about this. And I think, like, it eventually clicked to him that he, like, wasn't just doing sex right.
Yeah.
And of course, like, everybody's speculating, you know,
right.
like... But, they do eventually break their dry spell, or whatever you want to call this, and do start having sufficient sex.
That was like...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But in retrospect, Marie's still only 22 at this point.
Still a baby.
Yeah.
Like, still a baby.
She's 24. Like,
wow.
I mean, for all we know, their bodies were just figuring it out.
Right.
Maybe, like, they weren't into each other as awkward teenagers. We don't know. Like,
right, and they never got to explore, like...
Themselves.
They never got to explore, like, what love, like, really is. Like, to feel that, to, like... So, yeah, wow. Babies.
Yeah, but the queen did finally give birth, though 7 years later, so 19 years after the arranged marriage, it was fulfilled.
Oh my gosh.
However, people were extremely disappointed because she gave birth to a girl. Her mother's name was Maria Theresa, so they decided to name the baby the French version of that, being Marie Therese. That was their first child. When she gave birth, though, because there was such this long period of time with no heir, like, everybody wanted to prove it again.
Right.
The same way they wanted to prove it the first time when they were consummating the marriage. Over 200 people gathered in the room she gave birth in.
Women cannot just be left alone, ever.
No.
We are always under some microscope of some sort. Like, we are always, like, watched, observed.
Yeah, and, like...
like a zoo animal.
And she had no pain medication. I mean, some say they would, like, microdose chloroform, but I might be conflating this with, like, a different, this might have been Queen Victoria, honestly. So don't quote me on that, but she gave birth without anesthesia, or without,
like nothing.
Yeah,
like no
what is
modern
the fucking name for the thing they put in your spine that I can't think of?
Oh
my god, people are screaming at me right now.
Yeah, what is that?
Please write in.
I had it done. They did it to my back.
Epidural.
Yes.
Epidural. So this room was still packed. She's hot. She's giving birth. There's 200 people in there. There's a lot of... So she almost died. She passed out. And they were gonna... If she didn't come through, they were gonna... Her cause of death, they were gonna attribute to suffocation. That's how many people were in this room.
Oh my god. And, like, what kind of room was it? Do we know? Was it, like...
A large bedchamber.
Just, oh my god.
Yeah, just somewhere in the palace. I don't really know a lot of details.
This poor woman. I mean, oh my god.
Yeah, she did go on to have 2 miscarriages also, but as a whole, she did end up having 4 live children. And then she adopted 6 additional. One of which being a black child, which was very significant for the time. However,
I never knew that.
Yeah, they didn't live in the palace, so you can speculate, but I think it's worth mentioning that place that's often left out of history.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So,
angel.
In total they had 10 kids. Like I said, 6 adopted, 4 biological, and I guess she had 6 pregnancies overall because she had the 2 miscarriages after 7 years of not fucking.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot to digest.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's my story for you.
Oh my god. So what I want to know is, like, there is a lot to digest here. There's a lot to dissect.
Yeah.
How come they had, like, how did they have other kids? Like,
They just kept trying until they figured out sex, I guess.
Oh my gosh. But do you think he, like, wanted that?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that there's records of people saying he would finish himself off, like...
Right. It just...
But was he attracted to Marie? Like, was he gay? Like, we don't have anything to prove that.
Right.
Like, maybe he wasn't interested in sex with another human.
Right. Like, totally plausible.
He definitely could have been asexual.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The things they don't teach you in history class.
That's what I'm saying. Did you know this about the French Revolution?
No, I just learned this in Gab class.
Welcome to the school of Yap, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh. I never thought I'd talk about the sex life of somebody in the 1700s.
Aren't you glad that you waited to...
I am so glad. I'm so glad. Because I still don't think I have, like, words or coherent thoughts about this.
This is a podcast for your words.
I know, and I'm kind of speechless.
But, yeah, that's Yap and Gab for you.
That's Yap and Gab.
Shining some light.
Yeah, that's,
in a very dark bedroom.
Suffocating.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Poor Marie.
Poor Marie. Well,
and the way she was dismissed from the room.
Oh my gosh.
After he would just, like, insert and
Somebody should, if we can go back in time, I would grab a Viagra, a manual, and an aftercare pamphlet for how to treat your woman.
I would just bring her a dildo.
But she can't conceive that way.
Oh, fuck it. It was all politics. None of their kids ever took over. They were overthrown anyways.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
we never ended up getting that. Well, we did get, like, the heir. Their second or third child was a son, which they also named Louis. Spoiler.
Oh my gosh. Who saw that coming?
And I almost forgot to mention this, but one of their children did die in infancy. It was really sad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and the attitude around it was super shitty too. Someone had said to Marie that since the child was so young, she couldn't have been that attached.
Women are just constantly dismissed, like all through time.
I want to say it was her mother, but I could be incorrect because it was exchanged via letters. Yeah, and her response back, and I quote, was, "Don't forget that she would have been my friend." And she had just finished having a portrait painted of her and all her kids, and the baby was in a bassinet. And it was so painful that they had them paint over the baby so it just looked like an empty bassinet because she couldn't look at it.
I'm choked up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hope she's resting so peacefully, her and her babies.
They're separated, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Those poor people, like all around, like sad in every aspect.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of humanizes them because since they were overthrown and seen as so unfair, we don't always put that light on them. And of course, they did things that were absolutely wild and unfair. They were extremely luxurious and extravagant people.
Right.
But that was the only frame of reference they had.
Right, exactly. They weren't given a handbook.
And they didn't realize, they didn't know what it felt like to starve.
Right.
They had never felt that, like, feeling in their stomach. They didn't know what the people on the streets were going through.
Right. You can feel bad for,
and
like,
I'm not
the
making
young
excuses
and
for the people that suffered by any fucking means.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, definitely, like I said, it just humanizes them more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
But that's what I got for you today. So
that was a lot.
I hope you liked it.
I loved it.
Thank you.
I am at a loss for words. Like I just can't handle like all of that. Like my brain is like gonna think about this for like the next 80 days.
But same time next week for a new story?
Same time next week.
Okay. You can find us on the socials.
Yap and Gab.
Just search Yap and Gab. We'll come up. Our email, our contact is in the bio. Find us on Instagram. Come follow us. Listen to us on Spotify. yapgabpod@gmail.com. Yapgabpod on Instagram. Yap and Gab on Spotify. If you have any episode dedication suggestions, please send them to us. We would love to shine a light on a case that maybe hasn't been discussed publicly in a while, or any episode suggestions whatsoever, any comments, feedbacks. Please be nice. We are new, but you know, we do want to improve.
Yeah. Yeah,
and thank you guys for hanging along for the ride. We will be releasing every Friday, so Yappy weekend, everybody.
Yappy weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Crown tilted leaning like a sheath blade. Still corset tight, but I'm unafraid. Torchlight flicker when I make my call. All the knights bow down when I enter the hall. Rise in the castle, throw your hands in the air. Chainmail vines, we don't fight fair. Dagger in my boots and a jewel in my wine. We're queens in disguise and the night is divine.